Well, of course. It's all they're fucking sexual deviants. They're weirdos.
You are a human trafficker, my dude. Ava Tyson works with MrBeast on the MrBeast show. Probably pretty familiar with the fact that I'm not a fan of MrBeast, but the only thing that I have respected MrBeast for is supporting his trans friend during her transition, and that's been something that was nice to see someone with such a huge platform sticking up for his friend. This video came out, I think, talking about the whole thing. I'm not going to watch it because obviously it's made by like a far-right channel. So I was going to listen to a little Penguin Zero.
Yesterday, Ava Tyson of the MrBeast crew had a ton of evidence surface about horrible behavior with how they communicated with minors, as well as a past of really disgusting shit. A lot of people are calling the Season 7 writers of 2024 internet drama lazy because they're reusing a similar plotline. A lot of people drew comparisons to Dr. Disrespect recently being outed for talking inappropriately to a minor. There are tons of screenshots to showcase exactly what was being said to someone who was between 13 and 14 years old at the time, and it's fucking gross. It's completely unacceptable. Some of them were just public tweets right under everyone's nose. So Ava Tyson was an adult at this point. Lava was a child. And saying things like, I posted some fire nudes for you, please no share, and then other shit like, but not $5 pathetic JK kissy face, they seem to communicate a lot, even sending Snapchats. So here's one that says, coming for America, and then goes on to talk about being in a group chat and everything. And I've seen a lot of people try and cope and deflect saying like, oh, it's just edgy jokes, people are blowing this out of proportion. What a bunch of fucking nonsense. That's a load of hooey. That's dirty barnacles. That's ridiculous. Under no circumstances should an adult be communicating with a child in any inappropriate manner whatsoever. Edgy jokes between an adult and a child are still fucking gross. That's not like the slam dunk defense that some people seem to think it is. Under no circumstances should an adult be in a group chat with a bunch of children sending coming.
There's just like, there's no two ways about it for that. Like, I think, because I saw the post that was made by the person who was receiving the replies on Twitter publicly saying, these videos are massive lies and twisting the truth. Ava never did anything wrong, just made a few edgy jokes. I was never exploited or taken advantage of. Can you please do a favor and comment on these videos and tell them to stop spreading lies? This situation takes away from children who are actively being exploited every day online. I'm not the victim of anything being claimed in these videos or at all. I think insofar as just replies by themselves, like you're just replying to other people online, you could make a defense for, well, you're publicly posting on a public social media platform. This is different, but DMs, going into Discord groups or DMing people who are 14 or 15 years old, yes, it's unacceptable as an adult content creator. People across the board, it doesn't matter who they are, need to absolutely stop doing that and be called out for it. Just it's simple as, right? People who are 21 years old and they're messaging 14-year-olds or DMing 14-year-olds or just trying to share fun memes with people that they know or are underage, yes, it's not acceptable behavior in any way, shape, or form. Check out Philip DeFranco's coverage. It's far better. All right.
Massive scandal right now as she faces allegations that she inappropriately.
Honestly, the worst part about this is, as a trans person, this affects more than just one person. Absolutely. I mean, it should be reiterated that the facts of the matter are trans people are more often the victims of abuse and sexual abuse and child abuse than they are the perpetrators. So the very idea of suddenly, obviously the right wing has found yet another story where they can talk about this in the most transphobic way possible, try to artificially create a pattern of abuse and be like, hey, yet another instance here, we have a trans person committing abusive behavior towards minors or things like that. Again, the statistics on this are incredibly clear. The majority of child abusers are straight cis males, and the majority of the victims are people who are in close proximity to them, usually friends and or family. If you want to keep children safe and away from abusers, you should spread that information so that people are made aware of it. And that's all there is to say on that.
Messaged a minor. While all of this is just now blowing up online, this actually began last month when a little known YouTube channel called Prism42 posted the allegations, right? And in it, he accuses her of starting an online friendship with a 13-year-old boy while she was 20, then showing screenshots of several tweets that he claims are between Ava and the minor. In one from 2018, Ava's promoting her Patreon, with her allegedly saying, "Guys, we are so close to our goal, one more Patreon and I'm releasing my nudes." With the two appearing to exchange kissy face and winky face emojis in a thread, and Ava eventually telling the minor directly, "I posted some fire nudes for you, please no share." And there, Prism saying, even if this was just a series of raunchy jokes and no actual nudes were exchanged, in what world is it appropriate for an adult to joke with a kid like this? Prism then showing other screenshots, some in which Ava appears to call the kid dad, as well as another suggesting Ava was sending him Snapchat DMs with adult jokes. And Prism going on to say when the kid was 16, he met up with Ava as well as Carl Jacobs after taking a camper to the middle of the woods in a quote-unquote secluded area. With Prism then saying he interviewed this guy, who's now in his 20s, and saying he asked if Ava or anyone else on the Beast team ever assaulted him. However, there he notes that the guy fully denied that. It also seemed like they weren't on the same page, with at one point Prism saying to him directly,
"That is highly inappropriate. That should have never happened. I'm sorry if your feelings were hurt in any way, shape, or form. I want you to know that I don't have any ill intention here against you. And at the end of the day, the only reason I did any of this and was trying to get this information out is
Did you film this in a park?
because of genuine concern."
he also addressed MrBeast and said,
I think the work that I see you do, it's fine work, it's great, it's good charity. I don't have anything against you other than like the fact that, you know, you seem to be okay with having someone that says they're the opposite gender near kids.
however, you know,
Well, talk about giving away the game. You know what's funny is you're gonna finish that whole thing, and you were clearly dancing around it awkwardly, kind of just like, you know, the philanthropy is good, you building the homes for those people, the blind stuff, but like, I do take issue with one specific, very specific thing.
but this video largely went unnoticed until this week, when a creator by the name of Brion posted another video recapping Prism 42's claim. Right in it, Brion stresses that he can't confirm Prism's claims 100%, saying,
"It's all allegations. You know, take the things that you see here with a grain of salt. We don't know if 100% Chris is a pedophile or predator or whatever. We just know that Chris has done some really weird things in his past over on Twitter."
And with that, you had Brion honing in on a tweet where the kid asked Ava about her hentai addiction.
Like, it's really odd that a 14-year-old knows that a 21-year-old has a hentai addiction, and these two happen to be friends. Like, why the hell would you tell somebody who is this age, or frankly a minor, weird sexual shit and the things that you're into sexually?
And then sort of separate but also connected to this whole story in recent days, we've seen a lot of people screenshotting what they say are old tweets from Ava where she expresses an interest in lolly, which is this anime style of either drawing young-looking or underage girls, usually in a suggestive or outright explicit way. There, you also had the likes of Keemstar writing, "Chris Tyson supported the cartoon CP artist Shadman that drew my daughter at age 8 in a sexual manner," saying this is a known fact, and adding, "Privately, me and Chris Tyson even had a conversation about this roughly a month ago, as it still upsets me. This is not misinformation, this is a fact." And adding, "As the owner of Drama Alert, I can tell you there has been misinformation surrounding Chris Tyson today on Twitter. However, this above is 100% true, just like this old tweet from Chris shown here. It's 100% true and authentic." But then jumping back to Brion's video, he asks Ava to respond to all of this, saying,
Chris has to say something. Chris can't be quiet like Chris has been for the longest time. This needs to be something that Chris is going to address head on, like right now.
But that said, so far, as of recording, Ava hasn't outright responded to these allegations, though reportedly last month she did delete all of her tweets from her account. We also haven't seen any comment from MrBeast regarding the situation either, though close to that you did have Keemstar tweeting, "MrBeast connected me directly to Lava, the alleged Chris Tyson groomed victim. Lava said I was not groomed by Chris Tyson," also saying I did not meet Chris Tyson by myself, I met Chris and the MrBeast crew with my family present, and saying I ran a Discord with Chris Tyson when I was 13 and edgy inappropriate jokes were said, that's it. And also if you go to that person's Twitter, they wrote, "Chris did nothing wrong. What's actually disgusting is you guys twisting things and making me a victim, as well as can you guys help me counter all these lies?" Chris's messages to me were sent in public Discord servers, groups, but everyone is framing it as if it was one-on-one. Chris literally did nothing wrong. And in another tweet saying, "This situation takes away from children who are actively being exploited every day online." So there, you had a lot of people kind of either not buying that or countering that by saying something along the lines of what Moist Critical said during a live stream.
And then one of the, like the main person being talked about came forward saying they weren't groomed and that it wasn't weird. But the whole thing is, if you were groomed, you're probably not going to be super aware of it. And from the messages I saw, that shit is completely unacceptable to be saying to a child under any circumstances. And then I saw people
That's really bizarre to speculate on. First off, you know, people need to establish what exactly happened to them on their own terms. And yes, that is entirely possible that people can be taken advantage of, and children can be taken advantage of, and they can be manipulated into believing they weren't taken advantage of, or stuff of that nature. I think what needs to be called out so far as what's taking place here is that yes, it is completely unacceptable and should be condemned if grown adults are messaging or running, you know, group chats or Discord servers or DMing underage people, like just full stop. That just shouldn't be happening at all. Like it's just like, I don't know how many times there needs to be stories where it's a big content creator and a big content creator was just innocently, you know, DMing so-and-so, and then they found out they were underage, and then, you know, this happened or that happened or something like that. It's like, full stop, adults should not be messaging and, you know, forming relationships with teenagers as massive content creators who have big fan bases of people who adore them. Like, the whole thing is inappropriate across the board.
People saying it was a group chat, but an adult being in a group chat with children and then still saying edgy or inappropriate shit is still unacceptable? Like that, like there's no context that makes it better.
Right, and so online with this, we see just so many different reactions. Right, some just outright condemning Ava. You also had a former member of the MrBeast crew saying Jimmy knew. Though again, others saying when you were a minor, you wouldn't be aware of what was happening. You also had others going after Prism and Brion.
So resources are not for queer adults to provide for youth. I was like, you can point them towards organizations that you know have a track record of looking after and protecting, you know, queer youth. Like, for example, if you are in Vancouver, BC, and you need help and support, reach out to an organization called Community. It's spelled with a Q and then Immunity after that. There's obviously a number of other organizations in different countries. The Trevor Project in the United States, for example. There's organizations who have been vetted, have a track record of helping and providing support to vulnerable LGBTQ plus youth. That should not be coming from a content creator to their fans, right? Especially a content creator to their underage fans. Again, it's just like, I don't know how many times there has to be another story on the internet of something similar occurring before people recognize that, you know?
Misgendering Ava throughout the videos, which then, connected to that, you had many people saying they're scared shitless that these allegations against Ava are just going to turn into cannon fodder to scapegoat the entire trans community. Saying things like, let's be clear, the Ava Chris Tyson allegations are not a trans issue. It is, in fact, a content creator issue. So many people, when given a small amount of power, abuse it.
100%. Again, the statistics on this are very clear, and like any transphobic piece of shit who's trying to push a narrative like the Quartering does, where it's just like, oh, it's happening again, yeah, another mass shooter, blah blah blah, or stuff like that. They're trying to they're propagandizing confirmation bias in their audiences. They're trying to fool their audiences into believing a narrative that is simply statistically not true. LGBTQ plus people are more often the victims of child abuse and sexual assault than they are the perpetrators. The majority of perpetrators of child abuse and child sexual assault are cis straight men. That is what the stats show. If you want to genuinely protect kids and that's what you care about, you should be putting forward a yes blanket statement that it is not appropriate for content creators to be messaging their underage fans or to be starting Discord groups with their underage fans and sending edgy jokes. I always hear that term too, the edgy jokes thing, where it's just like, oh well, they were just edgy jokes. They were just blah blah blah. And it's like, how is everyone supposed to discern between that when there's a 21-year-old talking to a 14-year-old and then being like, well this one was a joke. This one is kind of yikesy. Like with Dr. Disrespect, the condemnation was instant and clear from people who were already on the left, right? It was very, very simple. This person was clearly, as being told by other individuals, messaging a minor inappropriately. They admitted to it, you know, and you could see the pushback from the other side, where the right was just unwilling to accept that, and all the fans of Dr. Disrespect were unwilling. Oh well, did he know? Oh, did he know how old you know, the kid was? Oh, was it sexual in nature? How sexual was it? How will we truly know until we see the logs? How will we get blah blah blah? All that kind of stuff. It's like there's no benefit to trying to, you know, do performative arguments in the other direction.
This itself should be studied. With some arguing we're already seeing the first ripples of that, with, for example, Andrew Tate responding to the situation by saying,
so now everyone's pretending to be surprised that this fucking tried to fuck a kid. Well, of course. It's all they're fucking sexual deviants. They're weirdos.
You are a human trafficker, my dude. Like, bruh, my fucking brother in Christ, you are a human child trafficker.
No reason to chop your own fucking dick off unless you're a weirdo. Newsflash, you're weird.
We've also seen a number of people drawing comparisons between this situation and the one with Dr. Disrespect, with many online saying that those who were quick to comment on the Dr. Disrespect situation have stayed silent on this one, with seemingly almost all the creators that were in the recent 50 YouTuber MrBeast video getting hit up about this. Though in particular, the creators Pokimane and Valkyrae seem to get a lot of the attention, with then, actually as of this morning, both responding. Pokimane saying, I don't know all the details regarding the Ava situation, but I want to make it clear any inappropriate behavior towards minors is unacceptable, regardless of who you are, and adding it's a shame that people will see this as an opportunity to attack the trans community as a whole. One person's actions does not reflect on every single trans person, so please don't view it that way. With Valkyrae hitting a lot of the same notes, but then also adding, Dr. Disrespect is still gross, and lastly to the incels that only tagged Poki and I to speak up, even though everybody did after D did himself, you're weird. Focus your hate towards the pedos for once. And there, online, we've seen people arguing both things, right? Some saying that people went after Dr. Disrespect harder, others saying they went after Ava harder. Now with all this, I do want to note that everything is still developing and growing. We're now seeing others digging up different comments and posts Ava allegedly made, with that including, for example, video of Ava in the past talking about and linking to leaked nudes of Jeanette McCurdy in an old clip, as well as at least one other person claiming they were also underage when Ava sent them inappropriate messages. They're providing video of what appears to be Snapchat DMs and explicit Discord voice chats from group messages. And in the meantime, you have all these different things all over the place getting millions and millions of views. You have people arguing about what's real or not, which is also why we've seen people both in...
Because so a couple days ago, like I said, I had just seen this statement by Lava, specifically saying that like I was not abused, I was not groomed, I was not taken advantage of. Please don't tell this malicious lie. It's basically going to, you know, downplay the severity of actual children who are exploited. But that was before all the rest of the information and all those other stuff has come out since.
Support of and against Ava or MrBeast here, pressuring them to speak on this. Especially because, again, you have people like Jake the Viking, who used to be a part of MrBeast's crew, saying things like Jimmy knew. And actually, like, really hitting on how everything's been developing in real time, we have a last-second update right before we were uploading. Ava Tyson just tweeted, I would like to apologize for any of my past behavior or comments if it hurt or offended anyone. It was not my intent. Seeing recent events, we've mutually decided it's best I permanently step away from all things MrBeast and social media to focus on my family and mental health. So for now, that's where we're going to end this today. But of course, with all this, I got to pass the question off to you. What are your thoughts here? And then, in the least surprising news today, if you watch yet.
Is moving on to the next story. Is online focusing on comparatively evil really that useful? Victim support should be the focus. Yeah, I would say that should be the primary focus. That, and as well as, like, you know, pointing out, of course, that there's going to be a whole bunch of horrifying fucking far right, and in many cases, abusers, by the way. Fucking, of all people to speak on anything related to harming people or children would be Andrew fucking Tate, the guy who's admitted on camera to having sex with a 16-year-old when he was an adult, the guy who is currently you know, facing criminal charges for human trafficking and multiple other counts. Like, that biggest fucking asshole on the planet has no authority to speak on anything. It's basically like, you know, Benjamin Netanyahu talking about you know, freedom and democracy and shit like that. At the same time, there's no question that, like, the same behavior, it doesn't matter if it happens to be someone who's part of, you know, the LGBTQ plus community or not, it's just wildly inappropriate behavior that has to be called out and condemned, like, without question. You shouldn't, as a grown adult, be DMing 14 or 15-year-old minors who are fans of yours just across the board. It is just like, there's nothing else to say about that. The bigger problem is again the fact that there are so many content creators who seem to be using their positions of power and have been for a very, very long time in order to either have inappropriate relationships with either their fans or their underage fans, or take advantage of them or stuff like that. And for a very, very long time, this was something that was just taking place on such a massive scale. So many different communities were fucking dealing with it. You know, the what is it? The Super Smash Brothers community, the Minecraft community. It would just be like scandal after scandal after scandal. It was around that time that, you know, Twitch was having its own kind of Me Too moment, that the actual Dr. Disrespect stuff started developing in the background as well.
Secret bonus episodes as well as uncensored content, go to patreon.com/the Serfs. This show is produced by Anna Loves Riley, Arian McCarthy, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hagbard Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Political Puppy, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demel, Travis McClinton, Trincell, Words Greenwood, with additional support coming from all of these amazing human beings right here.